Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game, today. The fans are out to get a ticket or two. From Walla Walla, Washington to Kalamazoo. It's a beautiful day for a home run, but even a triple's okay. We're gonna cheer and boo and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game today.
Hey everybody, it's me, Rick Acosta, the Dodger Card Collector, coming to you with another video. Today is Monday, December 1st. The holidays have finally made it. Can't believe it. It just seems like yesterday the World Series was ending, and here we are in December. A belated happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Haven't had a chance to make a video in a while. I'll explain that in a moment. But because it was Thanksgiving, I am very thankful for so many things, including my family and my house and just my life in general. Thankful for all of you that watch my channel, that comment on my channel, that text message me, that meet me at card shows and talk to me and show off their cards. You don't know how much that means to me. And yeah, that's really some of the things I'm thankful for. Thankful, since this is the first time I'm speaking to you in a while, thankful for the Dodgers winning their second consecutive World Series. Cannot believe it. What a great series that was between the Toronto Blue Jays. All credit in the world to the Blue Jays. The series could have gone either way. And believe it or not, it's been a month since the World Series ended. I still watch Game 6 and Game 7, parts of it, at least 3 or 4 times a week. I get weird that way. And I also have lately, the last 2 nights, I've actually watched a couple of the games from the NLDS against the Phillies. Helps me to review the game and just see what went wrong, what went right for either team now that you've stepped away for a month. So I do like to watch those type of things after they end. Probably because also NFL is only really on Sundays. Okay, they're on Mondays, but I don't know if I want to watch the Giants and the Patriots tonight. Thursday night's hit or miss. And, the Rams play on Sunday. And they're playing well, except they had a hiccup yesterday in Charlotte. But good football season. So really thankful for a lot of things that are coming that have happened, that are coming around. Some good things happening around the house. It's just nice. It's just nice to be able to do things for the house that make it better. And I've been working on that lately a lot. And haven't had much time to YouTube. I have been watching some, but also I've been a little unmotivated. And for me, it's a couple of things. It's a couple of rabbit holes that I've gone down that I found myself kind of stuck in. But also I noticed that when I first joined YouTube, or when I first started watching YouTube, which was probably around the time of COVID, all the channels that I subscribed to, of which a good chunk of them are now gone, they tended to focus on their collections. And I loved that. And everybody would show off their collections, their latest finds, or they'd highlight a set, or they'd highlight Hall of Fame cards, or they'd find out the 30 key cards in their collection, those type of things. I love seeing other people's collections. And I feel that YouTube has really gotten away from that. And it's gotten to the point where it feels like it's become like a hobby news type format, which is fine for some. It's not for me. But I was kind of stuck in a, well, what do I do now phase. In 2 ways. One, I already mentioned, I started a rabbit hole of only showing my latest pickups. And I noticed I was doing that. And while that's great, a bunch of us, there's a few collectors that stand out to me. Always Mike Moynihan, always Rocket Rick I'm going to get it wrong. Rocket Rick J18 or Rocket J Rick. Rocket Rick, TJ Maxx, Vintage Cards and Nostalgia. Those three, Eric, the Card Closet, geez, Mikey, focus on their collections, which I love. And I've noticed I had gotten away with it, or I'd gotten away from it. And so I had been stuck in that type of way, but also I had been stuck in, like I say, it just seemed I want to show. I'm very proud of my collection. I said that probably in my last video. I like collections and I like to review them. I like to show off my collection, and I felt like I hadn't been showing enough of it lately. And like I said, when I do watch card videos now, it just seems like it's the same old. We're going to talk about the latest scandal, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, there'll be another scandal. And kind of turned me into a Debbie Downer when it came to watching YouTube. I've unsubscribed to several channels just because that's become the format lately. So I need to stand up for myself and show off my collection, because I have a very good collection, as do a lot of you. And we haven't had it. Well, we did have a card show a couple of weeks ago, but I've been so damn busy that I didn't even have time to go to that. My next show will be in January in San Diego. I'm going to go see my friend George. I'm assuming my friends Levon will be down there. I'm assuming Eric and Gloria will be down there, and Tyler and Dominic. If Mitch is watching this, maybe those will entice him to go down to San Diego, because I have not seen everybody in a while. So, so part of also what I've been going through is, what do I want to talk about? It's easy to say, what am I going to talk about? But what am I going to show you guys? And I've run into that issue lately. So honestly, like in the last few weeks, I've been completely unmotivated to show a video, to create a video, because I don't know what to do. And I've been told by a couple of YouTubers that I'm a very organized guy. And I do have a lot of structure. So one night I actually sat down and I said to myself, what do I want from my channel? How often do I want to make videos? And there's a side of me, I used to try to do weekly videos, and then I kind of got off it. I'd like to try to get back to weekly videos. I don't know if that'll happen, but I'm going to try it. So one night I sat there and I said, let's break out each month into 4 segments. And, like maybe one day we'll talk about, 1 week we'll talk about a particular set or a particular subset. The second week we'll talk about maybe what we're going to do today, 5 or 6 cards from a particular decade. Then maybe a third week we'll do something to discuss education or curation of our collections. And then maybe the fourth week, then I will go back to doing my latest pickups. So I just wanted to structure that out for you guys, because like I said, it seemed like every video, and I know I was building, a couple of sets there for a while, and it seemed like every video was, here are my latest cards, which are nice, but I have a big collection, and some of you guys have big collections, and I want to see those. And there are a lot of shows out there that don't show cards. All they do is talk about cards. Those are the bigger channels that happen to get a lot of subscriptions and a lot of views. I'm not like that. So we're going to try this, and hopefully it works. I do have videos planned for the entire month. I'm going to push it off by a month. I will not be doing like my 50 or my 100 best cards in my collection. I will not do it in December. They're starting to come out now, and they're wonderful to watch. I'm going to wait. I have a birthday at the end of January, and last year I started the tradition. I did last year, since I turned 60, I did my 60 cards for my collection. This year I'll do 61 or 62 and throw in some cards, but I will wait till late January to do that, you guys. But I've got the month planned out for December, and then hopefully we can get some card show videos coming up in January. We've got San Diego. We've got Pasadena. I don't know if I'll be in Pasadena. I have a birthday that weekend, and I want to get away. We'll see. And then we have the Burbank Card Show coming up in February, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I have been buying cards, and I always say this. I'm not on YouTube. but I have been buying cards. But today we're going to focus on some cards that I already own. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 5 or 6 cards from the 1930s. We're going to focus on the decade of the 30s. We're going to show some cards. We're going to talk about some stories from some of these players that you might have heard or you've never heard. But I want to focus a little bit more on the cards and the players and the storytelling, because that's why I originally came on YouTube. And hopefully that's why you watched me. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm going to turn the camera around. Let's take a look at some baseball cards, you guys. All right, so I have 6 cards from you all from the 1930s. The first one I'm going to share with you is Gabby Hartnett, and he played most of his career as a catcher with the Chicago Cubs from 1922 to 1940. He did spend the final season of his career as a player-coach with the New York Giants in 1941. Hartnett was an all-around player, performing well both offensively and defensively, known for his strong and accurate throwing arm. He routinely led the National League's catchers in caught stealing percentage and was the first major league catcher to hit more than 20 home runs in a season. During the course of his career, Hartnett took part in some of the most memorable events in Major League Baseball history, including being behind the plate for Babe Ruth's allegedly calling his shot during the 1932 World Series, Carl Hubbell's strikeout performance in the 1934 All-Star Game, and Dizzy Dean's career-altering injury during the 1937 All-Star Game. However, the greatest moment of Hartnett's career came with 1 week left in the 1938 season, when he hit a game-winning home run in the bottom of the 9th inning to put the Cubs into first place. This event, which occurred as darkness descended onto Wrigley Field, became immortalized as the homer in the Gloaming. Now, prior to Johnny Bench, Hartnett was considered the greatest catcher in the history of the National League. 6-time All-Star, he appeared in 4 World Series during his playing career. At the time of his retirement, Hartnett held the career record for catchers in home runs, runs batted in, hits, doubles, and most games played as a catcher. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1955. So if we're going to talk about catchers in the National League, the 1934 Gaudy Ernie Lombardi card is the next card we should discuss. Next player. He played in the MLB as a catcher for Brooklyn, Cincinnati, the Boston Braves, and the New York Giants during a career that spanned 17 years from 1931 through 1947. He was inducted in the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1986. Baseball writer Bill James called Lombardi the slowest man to ever play Major League Baseball well. Lombardi was an all-star for 7 seasons. He hit over 300 for 10 seasons and played his Major League Baseball career with a .306 batting average, despite infields playing very deep for the sloth-like base runner. He's listed at 6'3" and 230 pounds, but probably approached closer to 300 pounds towards the end of his career. He was also known as a gentle giant, and this made him hugely popular amongst the Cincinnati Reds fans. One of my favorite stories about Lombardi is called Lombardi's Big Snooze. And that was during the 4th game of the 1939 World Series between the Reds and the New York Yankees. In the 10th inning, with the score tied and runners on first and third, Joe DiMaggio singled. 1 run scored. Then Reds outfielder Ivor Goodman fumbled the ball. Yankees right fielder Charlie Keller, well known for his sturdy physique, beat the throw to catcher Lombardi and inadvertently hit the schnoz, one of Lombardi's nicknames, in his groin. Unfortunately for the Reds and Lombardi, he had failed to wear his protective cup, and Lombardi was in pain and dazed. DiMaggio, meanwhile, raced around the bases and scored while the ball was just a few feet away from the afflicted Lombardi. The press was hugely critical of the sensitive catcher because of this, and it became known as Lombardi's Big Snooze. Next up, here's a card I've shown you a few times, but I just absolutely love, and that's the 1934 to 1936 batter-up Hack Wilson. He played 12 seasons for the New York Giants, Chicago Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Phillies. Now, despite his diminutive stature, he was one of the most accomplished power hitters in the game during the late 1920s and early 30s. His 1930 season with the Cubs is widely considered one of the most memorable individual single-season hitting performances in baseball history. Highlights included 56 home runs, the National League record for 68 years, and 191 runs batted in a mark yet to be surpassed. For a brief span of a few years, wrote a sports writer of the day, the hammered, down little strong man actually rivaled the mighty Babe Ruth. Now, Wilson's success in the 1930 season served only to fuel his drinking habits. And in 1931, he reported to spring training 20 pounds overweight. In addition, the NL responded to the remarkable offensive stats of the previous year. That was the only season other than 1894 in which the league as a whole batted over 300. The league introduced a heavier ball with raised stitching to allow pitchers to gain a better grip and throw sharper curveballs. Now, Wilson complained that the new Cubs manager, Rogers Hornsby, did not allow him to swing away as much as previous manager Joe McCarthy had. He hit his 200th career home run, only the fourth player ever to do so, behind Ruth, Cy Williams, and Hornsby, at Ebbets Field on June 18th. But then he fell into a slump and was benched in late May. By late August, Wrigley, the owner of the Cubs, publicly expressed his desire to trade Wilson. And on September 6th, he was suspended without pay for the remainder of the season after a fight with reporters aboard a train in Cincinnati. He was hitting .261 with only 13 home runs, and that was his 1930 production during August alone at the time. Now, while Wilson's combativeness and excessive alcohol consumption made him one of the most colorful personalities of his era, his drinking and his fighting undoubtedly contributed to a premature end to his career and ultimately his premature death. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, though, in 1979. And like I said, I picked this card because he just looks great in that Dodger uniform, which he played for 2 seasons. One of my favorite cards is the 1934 to 1936 Diamond Stars Al Simmons. He played 27s in the MLB. He had his best years with Connie Mack's Philadelphia Athletics during the late 20s and early 30s, winning 2 World Series with the team. Simmons also played for the White Sox, the Tigers, the Senators, the Boston Bees, the Reds, and the Boston Red Sox. Simmons was one of the best hitters in MLB history. He hit .340 or better in 8 different seasons, with 4 seasons of better than .380. He recorded a .300 batting average and 100 or more RBIs in his first 11 major league seasons. He accumulated 1,500 hits in 1,040 games and 2,000 hits in 1,393 games. Numbers that remain the fewest games needed to attain both marks in major league history. And he compiled 200 hits or better in a season 6 times. He also had some power. Simmons hit 307 home runs, finishing in the top 6 in AL in home runs for 7 consecutive seasons from 1925 to 1932. And in 19 World Series games, he hit .329 with 6 home runs, 17 RBIs, 15 runs scored, and a .658 slugging average. He was a career .334 batting average, and he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1953. And like I said, I always loved this card. It's just a great... This card and his 1933 Gaudy, which I do not own, are 2 of my favorite cards, period, from that era. So moving on to the 1938 Gaudy, we have Van Lingle Mungo, a right-handed pitcher from 1931 to 1945, primarily for the Brooklyn Dodgers. The 5-time All-Star, was the National League strikeout leader in 1936. Mungo was a colorful personality known for his off-field antics, as well as his erratic fastball. He averaged 16 wins per season from 1936 to 1936 on some pretty bad Brooklyn Dodgers teams. He led the National League in strikeouts with 238 in 1936, and he was named to the All-Star team in 1934, 1936, and 1937. Now, the stories and anecdotes about Mungo tend to emphasize his reputation for combativeness, including episodes of drinking and fighting. Mungo and I got along just fine, reported Casey Stengel, his manager on the Dodgers. I just tell him I won't stand for no nonsense, and then I duck. Now, another manager, more famous for his managerial career than his pitching career, was Tommy Lasorda. Lasorda was given the nickname Mungo because of his lightning fastball and his ability to strike out batters. Our last card is the 1939 play ball, Leo DeRocher. This was his last year as a regular shortstop. Now, after 1939, he never played more than 62 games in a season. After the 1938 season, and that was DeRocher's first year as Brooklyn's starting shortstop, he was appointed player manager by Dodgers' new president and GM Larry McPhail. He also purchased, amongst others, players such as Ducky Medwick and Pee Wee Reese from the Boston Red Sox. Reese is actually from the Red Sox, Medwick from the Cardinals. Now, by the middle of the 1940 season, Reese impressed DeRocher enough that he gave up his spot as the regular shortstop so Reese could get a chance to play, though DeRocher would make cameo appearances in the lineup in 1943 and 1945. In his first season as player manager, DeRocher came into his own. The most enduring image of DeRocher is of him standing toe-to-toe with an umpire, vehemently arguing his case until his inevitable ejection from the game. Now, DeRocher's fiery temper and willingness to scrap came to epitomize his position, for which he became most famous. As manager, he vaulted these same traits into his players. His philosophy was best expressed in the phrase for which he is best remembered, "Nice guys finish last." DeRocher was also notorious for ordering his pitchers to hit batters. Whenever he wanted a batter hit, he would yell, "Stick it in his ear." You gotta love Leo. Managed the Dodgers for a few years, moved on to the Giants. Eventually in the 60s with the Cubs and the Astros, and just a combative player. Good Hollywood movie star. Made a lot of appearances when he was a Dodger coach in the 60s. Made a lot of appearances on a lot of TV sitcoms. Fun guy to have around, fun guy to talk about. All right, you guys, if you stuck around this long, thanks so much for hanging out. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.
It's a beautiful day for a ball game.